The Mario franchise has gone through many changes over time. From solely 2D side-scrollers to 3D collectathons and space epics, Mario has been one of the rare few series to stay relevant since the very beginnings of the industry it now serves as one of the faces of. And that can't come without innovation, constant reinvention, the ceaseless search for the game to capture the hearts of yet another new generation. That is to say that Nintendo's never been shy to experiment with the Mario franchise. One quick look at Super Mario Bros. Wonder can tell you that real fast. But Mario is, at its heart, at least the mainline series is, a platformer. They are platformers. It's a part of their identity. And over time, I've come to notice a divide. A great divide of sorts in the philosophy behind each 3D Mario's game design. A battle fought between two gameplay styles that would shape how Mario has been perceived in the modern age. The fight between open-ended, larger worlds to explore and get lost in, places that are meant to provide the player with a sense of wonder that, when combined with the fluid movements of a platformer, allow for non-stop engaging gameplay as you collect tons of small rewards along the way, versus the tightly designed platforming gauntlets that, through their masterful displays of game design knowledge, provide a constant stream of challenging stages. Games fully focused on making the best, most creative level designs you'll find anywhere in the industry. On one side, Mario 64, Sunshine, and Odyssey. And in the other, Galaxy 1, 2, 3D Land, and 3D World. Join me as we explore the strengths and weaknesses of each style, how they came to be, and what would make for the best possible next entry in the long-running 3D Mario franchise. Let's start in chronological order, shall we? Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64. Mario's first 3D adventure, a game that would revolutionize how video games were perceived. Oh my god, look at this tree! It's almost real. Oh, so that's what being inside of a clock is like. Neat. You step inside Peach's castle and are presented with locked doors. Each door requires a number of stars. How do you get stars? You go inside a room that isn't locked, of course. You jump into a painting and suddenly you are transported to a massive, for the time, playground where anything is possible. You're given a pointer as to what to do before you join and are let loose to figure out how to get there. Good luck! A sandbox platformer, a collectathon, or whatever you want to call it, a gameplay loop now regarded as one of the finest and most addicting, and it was born completely out of necessity. You see, Nintendo was struggling with the switch from 2D to 3D. Their previous Mario game, Super Mario World, featured a whopping 72 levels, but when development started for Mario 64, they quickly realized that, oh, this whole 3D development thing? Yeah, a little harder than we thought. A Nintendo 64 cartridge could never fit 72 entire 3D modeled worlds in it, let alone the development time that would take in the 90s and the hardware capabilities of the console itself. It would have been ludicrous. But that's when an idea came down from the heavens above and blessed the game designers. Just like, use stuff more than once? And so, development pivoted towards fewer, larger levels that would contain many challenges within them. Suddenly, the game was down to 15 stages, but each stage contained 7 stars to be collected. Combining that with the 15 extra stars they spread around the castle itself, and suddenly, we have the number 120. Yeah, take that, Mario World! And so, the 3D Mario Collectathon was born. Incentivizing exploration through red coins and hidden stars, Mario 64 becomes the first game to feature in this side of the Mario divide. And after its astonishing success, it's just obvious that Nintendo would be looking to expand their newly built ideas on a more powerful console. Which brings us to our second game, Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube. This one's a bit controversial. A notoriously troubled rush development with the objective of releasing the game as soon as possible to try and curb the GameCube's less than stellar sales at the time, this led Sunshine to be a bit weird. And yeah, I'm gonna say it, super heated opinion moment. It's my least favorite 3D Mario game. I'm sorry, Sunshine fans, but look, I won't just crap on this game as, considering its situation, surprisingly good. Instead of 15 large levels to explore, we're down to 9 even larger levels, clearly going even harder in the way of the Sandbox Collectathon. And nowhere is this more obvious than in the 240 blue coins spread all over this game. You see anything even slightly suspicious, there's probably a blue coin involved. Seriously, this feels like the predecessor to Koroks in Breath of the Wild, and not in that good of a way if I'm being honest. Being prompted to save the game every time you grab one disrupts the gameplay in a rather minor way, but that over time makes you want to bash your head against the wall. And the lack of meaningful rewards for completion doesn't soften the blow. But it's not all bad, as the levels themselves present a clear step up from Mario 64. They're larger, more complex, look prettier, but that one's a given. The theming around an island is sold really well, and the atmosphere of the game is magnificent. Gameplay-wise, we have another controversial aspect, and again, super heated opinion moment. I'm like, mixed on it. I don't like the game's gravity. Compared to every other 3D Mario, it feels heavier for some reason. You fall like a rock, but you're given FLUDD for better aerial control and general mobility. It's just very different, and I think it could have used some more polish, but it's not inherently bad. Sunshine goes along with 64 on this side. But here comes the big one. A noticeable change in gameplay style comes with the Wii and its waggling remotes. Super Mario Galaxy would bring with itself a new way to play 3D Mario. For the first time in 3D, we're seeing an abundance of different, unique levels to play with 42 galaxies. Instead of the larger sandbox-styled missions of the past, Mario Galaxy features straightforward objectives. And yes, sometimes you can still find galaxies with slightly open-ended designs, such as Honey Hive Galaxy for example, but it is a far cry from previous games. Instead, in Galaxy, you're hopping from planet to planet through the use of launch stars and Zling stars, effectively going from self-contained platforming challenge to self-contained platforming challenge. Now, what this approach allowed the developers to do was create immaculate and perfectly paced segments, making each level feel like it's progressing towards your ultimate goal, getting the star. And you have multiple stars per planet still, but they're all designed in much the same way. Gone are the days of the red coins and blue coins, and in comes linear mission structures. Instead of collecting smaller rewards that would eventually lead up to bigger prizes, in Galaxy you only have the big prize. That means that each time that you hop into a level, it feels a lot more meaningful in a way. And it permits the developers to make it so that each individual mission can take Mario on its own little adventure. Also, Mario Galaxy brings to 3D for the first time, even if more in the background, the world structure from the 2D games, with levels being divided into 6 domes, each containing galaxies unlocked in a linear order, leading to a boss at the end. They brought back the structure from the 2D games into 3D, and a lot of people didn't even notice. It also helped with the sense of progression of the game. As a kid, I remember feeling so pumped every time I collected a new Grand Star. When I returned back to the observatory and the darkness started receding, unlocking a new area, it felt awesome. And they did all that while keeping a substantial amount of emotional world building and a big hub world filled with its own little secrets to find. But famously, Miyamoto thought that Mario didn't need these useless additions. Mario needed to focus on the gameplay, he thought. So it shouldn't come as a surprise when the team at Nintendo doubled down on this linear style for Galaxy 2. Nintendo usually doesn't make direct sequels, but they had so many ideas for galaxies that as soon as Mario Galaxy was done with development, they were already wondering how they could bring all of these unused ideas to light. They eventually decided on a sequel in the form of Super Mario Galaxy 2. Out with the backstories and domes, and in with the world map. Now you're progressing pretty much in a straight line. Even in Galaxy, you were given the choice to play the same level 3 or 4 times to get enough stars to then skip to the boss fight. But now, if Nintendo wants you to play Fluffy Bluff Galaxy, you're gonna sit your ass down and you're gonna play Fluffy Bluff and you're gonna like it. In Galaxy 2, you have even more unique galaxies, 49 of them, and the gameplay here, oh, mwah, it is perfect. Okay, nothing is truly perfect, but this is as close as it gets, okay? Mario Galaxy 2 actually experienced the opposite of the development cycle of Sunshine. The game was pretty much done in 2009, but got pushed back as to not coincide with the release of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, meaning the developers had extra time to polish and perfect every level. And to Miyamoto's credit, the lack of a bigger hub world and story probably means we got a couple extra months of polish going towards this gameplay style, and it really does show. Because Galaxy 2 is in my opinion the most creative a 3D Mario game has ever been. The sheer variety of power-ups and galaxy styles is staggering. And considering you're spending less time per galaxy in this game, with galaxies containing often 2 or 3 stars or even 1, it can feel like you're always moving, always seeing something new, always progressing, never stopping. It's crazy what they managed to pull off here. I can also appreciate the way that each world takes you closer to the center of the universe, moving from an earthly vibe, to the solar system, to the outer reaches of our galaxy, to observing the galaxies themselves, and finally, arriving at the supermassive black hole at the center. That's fantastic world building. And then the world S takes you to paradise. Wait, did I die? Did we purposefully throw ourselves into a black hole? Are the 7 worlds in Mario Galaxy 2 correlated to the 7 stages of grief? Is this the next YouTube creepypasta? No. I must stop myself right there. I think it's clear to see that Mario Galaxy 2 is my favorite Mario game, and I could keep yapping all day about it. So if anyone's interested in a 2-hour-long video essay on Galaxy 2, let me know. No one? Oh, you prefer Galaxy 1. Oh, alright. No, I get it. I get it. You could at least subscribe to the channel and make me a happy cat. Look at this. Yeah, that's not that good. If you're enjoying the content, subscribe, please. Super Mario 3D Land. I haven't played it. I know, I'm sorry, I never had access to a 3DS. Those things are expensive as fluff to get used now. Like, seriously, they go for more than a Wii U a lot of the time. Yeah, I can see why, actually. So I'm just going to quickly go through its structure, and it's pretty much just 2D Mario. A lot of the models are taken from Galaxy 2 as well, and it's very similar in a lot of ways, at least from the surface. It is taking advantage of the 3DS's limitations to introduce even smaller scale, bite-sized challenges and reusing them a lot to pad out for extra content. Hope I get to play it one day, but for the time being, Super Mario 3D World! Oh you, 3D World, you're not fooling anyone. Ooh, let me check this real quick. And yep, okay, this is literally just a 2D Mario game in 3D. World structure, even more linear than Galaxy 2. You're reaching the end and touching a flagpole and never coming back. There's timers and prominent scores when you finish a level, and it's marketed as a multiplayer game. So it becomes hard to compare this to all the previous titles because of these reasons. If Galaxy 1 and especially Galaxy 2 moved 3D Mario to be more uniform with their 2D titles, 3D World just pretty much made it one. In all but the 3-dimensional controls, that is. And look, I love 3D World, and I even think it has some of my favorite levels in it, but it's just overall less memorable than games like 64 and Galaxy and even Sunshine, because I think it loses a lot more of the charm and experience that comes with playing a 3D Mario game. But still, I am a sucker for the jazzy music. Someone at Nintendo, more of this please. But all of these games, all of this legacy, were all just leading up to Nintendo's magnum opus, a game that could finally fully explore the collectathon roots of 3D Mario using hardware powerful enough as to not result in compromise. Super Mario Odyssey completely ditches a hub world, unless this counts, pretty much completely ditches a world map or level selector. You're instantly thrown into these worlds and you're just told to go. Just like Mario 64, all those years ago, they give you a pointer as to what your next objective should be, and they don't tell you exactly how to get to it, but unlike that game, now you're fully free to do whatever you want, even completely ignore those objectives. Player freedom. I wonder if the Mario and Zelda teams were in talks during this period, because with the way the last decade of Mario games were heading towards, you wouldn't expect a complete reversal in trajectory like this. But it matters not, because Mario Odyssey is Nintendo's best effort from this side of the divide. And I have to say it, fantastic job, right? I mean, we've all played, I think. It is great. You got 17 kingdoms to explore, although admittedly some are really short, and hundreds of moons to collect. You can't even go a minute without the neuron activation dopamine hit of getting a moon from a random tree or rock. It is a truly engaging experience from beginning to end. The capture mechanic introduces so many gameplay styles, and no other game in the franchise does movement even half as good as Odyssey. It is the perfect speedrunning game. It feels great just moving around. Odyssey marks a solid return to this side of the divide. And there we have it. all of the Mario games. So to answer the question on everyone's minds, which is better? What route should the Mario franchise take moving forwards? And if you want a bombastic, straightforward answer to make half the people watching pissed off, I like this one a bit more. But we're not talking about feelings, and we want to be a bit more objective with our analysis, so probably a bit more of both. I believe Mario Odyssey laid out a pretty good structure to what the next Mario game could look like, but it didn't do it quite right. In Odyssey, oftentimes moons lack a feeling of substance. Odyssey can feel more like a side quest simulator than a well-paced 3D Mario game. Moons start blending in, and there's so many of them that are just variations of the same thing. Here's what I propose. Bring back stars, but keep moons too. Have stars be the reward for those linear segments. Expand them a little bit. Give them a bit more playtime, because in Odyssey, sure, you're getting 3 moons, but those are still moons used for the same thing. Gluing 3 moons together doesn't make me feel more accomplished, especially when a lot of the time, moons are so prevalent that if I can just skip and disregard the multi-moons anyways, I'll probably save time. Have moons fulfill an intermediary role, between purple coins and stars. Stars progress the game and unlock new areas. Moons can be used to unlock doors inside kingdoms, and maybe those paintings are a shortcut, or even the path to a star, so gathering a good amount of them is still incentivized. You could even let people buy some cosmetics with the moons. But keep a bigger reward separate, and make getting it a journey, like how in Odyssey you have those pipes and doors that will take you to a platforming segment for a moon. Instead of them giving you a moon, make them locked behind a moon requirement and make them a lot longer, giving you a star at the end. It's kinda getting the best of both worlds in a way. But what do you think of the great divide of 3D Mario? What are your favorite styles of gameplay, and what do you look forward to most in the future of the series? Would love to know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Subscribe and help out with this little passion project. It always makes my day. And as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye!